Oh, boom. All right. What up, guys? Dr. Dan, OzarkMMJCards.com. Great to join you again. Wonderful Thursday. Wonderful, nice, bright, shiny Thursday here in Northwest Arkansas. Summertime treating us nice. A pleasure and a privilege to join you all. Thanks for taking the time, checking out my YouTube videos. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Share these videos if you find them cool. All right. Awesome, guys. Look, I'll jump right into it. Really cool part about doing this business more than anything is the people component, being able to meet a vast array, real diverse group of patients that are looking to get their cannabis cards, or, just really curious about the process. I get to meet these people and they're quite varied and nuanced. And sometimes you really just come across people that, you know, I'm not above internal bias, people that maybe you might not have thought of as seeking cannabis as an alternative therapy, when you look at them just visually. And I wanted to just lend some credence to the or just some awareness to the elderly golfer guy. This avatar I've come across. They're very interesting, really, because when you see them on first sight, this is a sort of retiree sort of fella, or a lady. They're men and women. You'll see them in their little, button-up shirts and dress real nice, real clean, and always very cordial. And it turns out these people, they do have stuff going on. They could be possibly a cancer survivor or something like that going on, but more often than not, it's intractable pain, arthritis type pain that they're looking to ameliorate, and they come seeking their cannabis cards. And in certain cases, it's surprising that these people have landed on this, and some of them having done it for quite some time. They appear to be going out hitting the links, and turns out they're hitting the green. Turns out they're hitting the green every time, right? They're hitting the green every single time. So I don't know how well it works for their golf game. We'll see. But apparently, as far as controlling pain and being able to get on top of arthritis type symptoms, and really just sort of get the feeling that your joints are more loose and lubricated. Apparently, the cannabis works well. This nice older gentleman that came in, must have been in his 70s, mid 70s, came in. I don't want to give away too much. Real smiley guy, happy, real, very jovial, very jocular fella that came in to see me. And apparently, he's longtime golfer, longtime cannabis user, and he's totally lucid, very much with it, very, very happy, just very, very radiant in his being when he came in. And I was just very impressed by his degree of youth in his demeanor, despite having oh shoot, I've been smoking weed for 50 years. Says this guy. And he couldn't be in, nice slim frame on this guy, very active, very boisterous in his being. And just turns out he was no worse for the wear, despite being a longtime cannabis user. So he says he never really abused it or anything like that, but when his body's in pain, or he needs to just sort of limber up and stretch out and get a lot more mobility, apparently the cannabis works out well. I remember him saying he liked to lean on a higher CBD ratio sort of strain. So there's that, leaning towards getting a good balance for the optimal entourage effect, folks. I always end up leaning back to this. And he sort of lent his thoughts to it. The higher CBD stuff really is where the gold is. That's where you get a lot of the good entourage effect. So chasing after the high THC percentage isn't really the most optimal thing, not for engaging the ECS. So I do want to say that, just to lend some awareness in terms of really how to go about dosing this stuff to get the optimal effect. And he was a really good testament to that. So good to just keep that in mind. So listen, golfer crowd, all crowd, really what it really knocked back to was really control of physical pain and decrease of inflammation is really the goal, and the kind of thing where we're really getting good results in terms of people being able to treat their symptoms, things like arthritis, treat these things using just a minimum of medicine and really keeping it natural and living a happy optimal life. This guy that came in, and he's just one example. I've come across patients before. Have a really good longtime patient there in Little Rock, North Little Rock area. Known him for some years and certified him a number of times. Has longtime golfer elbow, in addition to having a couple of back surgeries. I believe a couple of lumbar fusions, if memory serves correct, and or some anterior cervical disc fusions, what's called an ACDF. I believe he might have had one of those. I could be mistaken. Nonetheless, he'd been using these cannabis products and just getting good results. He golfs all the time, and he's up and active. So, in that crowd, if you haven't thought about the idea of cannabis, maybe just something to consider. I was just able to see, just through observation, that quality of life really enhanced and happy when people do employ the cannabis for therapy. So something to think about, golfing crowd. So yeah, I just wanted to throw that one out there. If anyone hits that checkbox, just wanted to know. I took notice. This guy was just so impressive. So I just wanted to really just give him a shout out, and anyone else who's out there who might be swinging the club like him. Hey man, keep hitting the fairway. You can hit the green and still hit the green. Okay, apparently. And if nothing else, you can always kick your feet up, smoke some weed up, or better to dry or vaporize. I just want to throw that out there. Sublingual is also nice, folks. RSO crowd, Rick Simpson oil. The sublingual stuff, really a good idea. I like to lean into that, folks. If you're looking to extend your life years, good to keep the health of your lungs in mind and keep the combustible smoke to a workable conservative minimum. All right. There's other ways to take these cannabinoids. The sublingual oils, I think, are a really good idea. Rick Simpson oil, dabbable oil, dabbable oil. The tinctures are a good idea. These things just take a little bit longer to activation time versus the inhaled route, but barring that one little drawback, really good, dependable results with these folks, and ease of dosing. So that's a real good aspect to keep in mind when you're thinking about the non-inhaled route. Okay. So many ways to take these cannabinoids safely. All right. I just want to lend some awareness to that. When people are wondering about the safety profile of cannabis, really good, great safety profile, low toxicity profile. When we talk about things regarding solid organ metabolism through the kidneys, kidney clearance into the urine, and liver metabolism, the hepatic clearance, very little induction of the cytochromes, the liver cytochromes, with regards to metabolizing cannabinoids. Factoid there. Grab that, doctors, if you want. Okay. Very little induction of that P450. What is it? CYP A19. I could be wrong on that one. Doctors can follow up and check me on that. But nonetheless, don't need to worry about kidney clearance, any of that kind of stuff. Okay. People with kidney clearance problems, any kind of renal issue, not an issue for cannabis. All right. Not an issue to be considered for those curious out there. Doctors, patients, kidney clearance, liver issues, not really a consideration that has to be super worried about. So just something to think about. Cardiac status is something we do take into account. A lot of patients with coexisting coronary artery disease and arthritis, because we tend to find these things in the aged population. That's something we do pay attention to, because it can induce tachycardia in response to peripheral vasodilation, meaning widening of the blood vessels, which can cause decrease in blood pressure. When there's a decrease in blood pressure, what your heart does in response is to increase the rate of its pumping to ensure that we get proper feeding of oxygen rich blood to our organs. All right. So what happens with cannabis, because you get a slight decrease in blood pressure, oftentimes what you get is a compensatory, a responding increase in heart rate. So if someone has a problem with decreased oxygen delivery to the heart, that increased heart rate would come to a cardiac liability. So we like to just raise awareness to that. Okay, so patients know, not like it's an ultimate caution and an absolute, what's called an absolute contraindication. None of those things. But we do want to be responsible in our practice of cannabis medicine, and really be aware if a patient might have a coexisting condition, that we might want to raise awareness to them, that might be a risk factor, or a thing that we just want to have our eyeballs on. Same thing with regards to patients that might have underlying high grade PTSD or depressive type symptoms, or poorly controlled schizophrenia, things like that, bipolar disorder. Their degree of control and insight as to their disease process with regards to these psychologic based sort of things. We do want to be at least aware with the cannabis, and in certain cases we don't want to we don't want to restrict people, but we don't want to grant access to absolutely everyone if it looks like using a thing like cannabis could be a crutch and might put them in sort of in a mental state where they'd be prone to making poor decisions. All right. And really, we do want to respect patient autonomy to make whatever kind of decision that they want. But ultimately, for the long-term health of oneself, we do want to keep those things in mind. If, in the event that someone doesn't have enough insight to use cannabis as medicine safely. So, we always want to take a big picture, always, take a good history. Doctors, if you're watching out there, patients, if you're seeing, medical professionals, really, just pay attention to the amount, the degree and type of inquiry that they're making with regards to your medical history, and just making sure that they treat you appropriately, take things in mind, things like allergies, allergic responses to drugs, things like that. If you have a history of addiction, drugs of abuse, dependence on alcohol, if you are a cigarette smoker or tobacco user, otherwise, these things are important to take in mind. All right, when physicians are taking a good history. So I just like to lend some credence to that. Take back there, video reel. Right. Tech mounting it to the wall. Thank you for video reel. The tech. Yeah. Thank you for awareness. Good comment there. I'll make sure, and with regards to the tech on the wall, who knows? Right. Exactly. Great. Listen, folks, good talking to you. Just wanted to take a shout to the arthritis crowd out there, the golfing crowd. All right. Y'all keep it well. Missouri, Arkansas, big up dispensaries, big up in Arkansas, Missouri, and Oklahoma. I do believe we are going to be starting our dispensary worker discount real soon. We'll flash out that discount code. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the videos. Throw this video around so we can get that dispensary discount going. Pretty soon, leaning on it, guys. I don't want to throw any prices out there. Getting close to getting that $75. There it is. Bam, threw it out. $75 discount for the dispensary staff. Hit up website. We'll give you that discount code. Until then, guys, love you all. Thanks for tuning in. Be safe. Dose wisely. Be kind to each other. It's important. All right. That's social equilibrium. Be well, guys. Dr. Dan. Love you guys. Peace out.